Hello, my name is Malik Harrington and welcome to another episode of the Family Budget Fisherman. I have sort of a kind of a special episode this time. I want to deal with a particular response to a reel review of this reel here. As you can see here, I have with us the Carbon Fire Speed Spin 6:2-1. I have the 3000 series, and I want to both give my review and respond to two reviews that I read on this particular item. I was doing some research on this item not very long ago, and I came across two particular reel reviews. One was from Bassmaster, and I thought it was very interesting. This was back in 2007, and it says here the Lew's Carbon Fire SK spinning reel exclusive. This is back in May of 2017, so just over 2 years ago. And it has headlines. What is it? What does it do? What sets it apart? How much it is? And more information. This reel model is made exclusively from Lew's for Dick's Sporting Goods and Field and Stream, which is now just one big Dick's Sporting Goods. And so they are thoroughly invested in this particular reel, and as you can see, I've taken on some of that investment as well. But Bassmaster, a guy named Thomas Allen, who wrote the article, highlights what I just shared with you with regard to the production of this reel, and actually highlights some pretty good deals. It says that the reel, here's a pull quote, "The reel displays a very cool paint job that will endure any kind of fishing abuse you can think up. Sometimes it comes standard with a Lew's performance handle knob, and it's available in 3 sizes, 100, 200, and 300. I only have the 300 because for my uses, the 300 suffices. And the full retail value of this reel is $50 or $49.99. And so that's what they gave. And so, kind of saying, hey, it looks like a pretty good reel. The next one, this one is by a website called Tackle Test. There is no one particular person's name that I could find, even on the website itself. I guess you kind of have to know who the people are in order for you to make any kind of name reference to any of the articles that are written. But here is a review written in May of 2019, so just last month. And it also is making an argument about the reel. It's arguing that, hey, he had high hope. The individual had high hopes because the reel is made by a very popular company called Lew's. Lew's is very competent, very great rod, reel, and just to say, fishing gear, fishing tackle manufacturer. They're real good at what they do. So I would agree with this particular article on that. This person bought one reel, and he spent what looks to be, he bought it around Christmas time of last year, but he had sat on it for about 2 months. So he never used it for about 2 months, sat in the package. He then takes it out and he begins to use the one reel that he has. And he said that he had tried to throw a let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here's a pull quote. For my first trip out, I had I tied a small shallow diving crankbait onto the rod that was connected to the reel. The reel was great. It continued to be smooth and quiet. But on the second trip, here's another pull quote. I started hearing a slight noise. Whenever there was tension on the line, even a small amount of tension, such as when a crankbait is being retrieved, will cause the reel to make this noise. There was nothing I could do to stop it from happening. Now, although this reel is not on a rod, I have been using this particular reel. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you that I use this reel quite often. As you can see here, I have 3 rods that have this reel on it as we speak, and then you can see the 4 that are there. Okay? Now, I have here, on here, this is based on my most recent trip. I have it's getting caught on the ceiling there. I'll just do these one at a time. On this one, I have this on a 13 fishing medium heavy, fast action, 7'1" rod. And as you can see, I have an underspin tied to it. I'm using Finn's 645 braided line. This one is a full braid because for reaction baits, I'm not fishing in a place at the moment where there's a lot of spook. If I had it, if I was in a heavily pressured area, I would put a fluorocarbon leader on it. Excuse me, almost had to yawn there. On this one, I have a Yum Craw. This is the 13 fishing medium action. The other one was medium heavy. This is a medium action 7'1" rod both of these rods are 13 Fishing's Defy series rods. I probably forgot to mention that with the most previous rod. And as you can see, this one does have a leader on here, fluorocarbon leader on here, rather thick fluorocarbon leader, but one nevertheless. And I have a Yum crawl chunk on there. Excuse me. On my worm rod, I have a fluorocarbon leader, just the same. And all 3 of these have the Finn 6-pound test diameter, 45-pound test braid strength braided line. Some of the thinnest braided line you can actually get on the market with that break strength. And this is a RoboWorm tied here. And this is on my Skeet Reeves Performance Series rod. It's a 7'0" medium fast action rod, and it is made for the shaky head Senko, which might include some other worm style presentations. Now, let me say this: I have spent a total of about 288 hours. I think I added this up not too long ago. 288 hours. That is to say, I've been on the water an average of 2 days a month. Because as a family budget fisherman, you don't fish as much as those pros. 2 days a month on average, averaging also at about 6 hours a day. So 144 hours per year. And my total is about 288 hours and counting. With this reel setup, okay, with these reel setups. Now, I have also thrown chatterbaits, okay. I have thrown rattle traps. I have thrown jerk baits. Okay, this is that new ripstop, and it's an incredible lure. I've thrown spinner bait. I've thrown jigging spoons. Yes, I have. I've thrown bass swim jigs and pitching and flipping jigs. I've thrown tube jigs, both for bass, crappie, and whoever wants to bite. I've thrown diving plugs, both the square bill, shallow diving bait, and the deep diving crankbaits. I've thrown frogs. That is the popping frog. The traditional topwater frog. And the frog that goes underwater. Yep. I've thrown smaller spinnerbait. I've thrown smaller swim bait. Here's another version of a swim bait. 3 inches. And I've thrown versions of my crappie jigs, curly tail and paddle tail. Okay? Curly tail and paddle tail. All right. And I've thrown other baits. This is just a sampling that I have here. Okay? But now, let me say something immediately to this article. I have never, I repeat, I have never had to return a reel for any reason. I've never had one to break on me, to make any kind of funny noises, to not perform as expected. Never have had it. In 288 hours of use of this equipment. I never even bought the insurance because I have that much confidence in this piece of equipment. I don't know what this person's experience was, albeit a short experience, looking more like no more than 2 to 3 months, on occasion during the course of those 2 or 3 months of use. Maybe there's a bad batch. I mean, this stuff's made by human beings. It's all subject to bad batches at some point. Maybe you got a hold of a bad batch. Nevertheless, in my experience, I have not had a problem. It's been a flawless and appreciative experience with this piece of equipment. So I don't know what this person's angle is. Just reading from the article, I can say without a doubt that the person who did this reel review lacked one thing and one thing only, and that is determined lengthier experience with the Carbon Fire SKG spin spool. This is a great reel. This reel, in my opinion, could have been sold for $80 to $100 and sold units. If you take a look at some of my former videos, my earlier videos, I talk a little bit more about this particular reel. But let me just say, the fact that this is this is carbon. It's a very light reel, and the break strength on it, my understanding, I think it's either 13 or 17. I can't remember which it was, but it's at least 13, the best of my knowledge. Great reel, has great uses. I prefer the one with the fat bell wire. There are some with the thin bell wire, but I prefer the one with the fat bell wire. And so there you have it. This is, like I said, I am challenging this person's assertion on the quality of this particular reel to say to you that if you invest in this reel, you have invested in a great reel. I have no commercial affiliation other than being a customer of the retailer who sells these items. Just let me put that out there plain and clear. That I invest heavily in these. And like I told you, as a family budget fisherman, I didn't pay a whole lot. I took advantage of various discounts and so forth and was able to get these much less than the $50 per unit that they are in full retail for sale for. Now, let me also mention to you, in this particular article, he takes his reel back. He takes a reel back twice. because he says that he says in light of the fact he used 2 trips, he decided best to take it back to the store. He takes it back to the store. He mounts the reel again. He said his heart sank. When he spun the handle and let go of it, it barely continued spinning. It went about a half a turn and stopped dead in its tracks. So he took the second reel back. And when he took the second reel back, he got the Akuma. As you can see up here, I have let me get them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them as well. This is my 12-foot crappie rod. I have 6 of these as well. Although this rod comes with me, it's a specialty rod, but I probably have used this reel for more than 50 to 60 hours over the last year and a half, maybe, year and a half that I've had these reels. 60 hours. It's a good reel just the same. The difference between the two, in my view, this is a faster reel, 6:2 to 1 gear ratio. This is a 5:2 to 1 gear ratio. And I needed something that reeled in really, really fast. It is a good reel, and maybe one day I'll do a full review for you on that. But suffice it to say that for this reel review to not have given as much time as some of us have given to this particular rod, I thought was a bit underwhelming. And again, I do believe that this reviewer is genuine. This reviewer is on tackletest.com reviewing this model of reels. And I believe that his experience, or the person's, I don't know if it's a man or woman, I believe that the person's experience is genuine. I do believe, though, that the individual did not allow for as much experience with the reel before sharing the review. I could have given as glowing a review when I first purchased my first of these reels, but I'm giving you an equally glowing view now after having had the experience with these reels over the course of 2 years with a total of 288 or more hours with the reel in hand. So, that said, please like, subscribe, share this video with whomever you believe can benefit from this video, and I hope that you find good value out of this particular video. That said, I'm going to close out by just suggesting to you, never ever break your family budget, but always pursue breaking your personal best. Have a great time out there on the water. I'll see you next time.